The main point here is that cities are really that have been the generator of economic benefits and cultural benefits for all history, and the importance is growing. Cities are growing all around the world. This is a model of Zurich in the Middle Ages. But in order for cities to be sustainable and livable, they need to be more efficient and attractive. And what I want to talk about now in this part is why it's important that we do something to make our cities more attractive and economically beneficial and attractive. So the question really is, how do we do this? How do we make cities efficient and attractive, good places to live, good places to work, and good places to stay? And what I would argue is that the traditional strategies we've used to build cities, which are big capital improvements, bureaucracies, big political processes, centralized systems, these strategies, really, they're failing today. And why are they failing? I mean, one big reason is we don't have the money anymore for huge capital improvements. We may be able to build one here or there, but we're not going to be able to build what we've built in the last 20 years again. And the problem is more and more people are living in cities, and more of our economic life is coming from cities, and so it's a problem. So what I'm asking is, can small-scale, local, citizen-based efforts really replace these big centralized programs that have been the lifeblood of cities for many years? And I believe that they can. There are a lot of applications, internet applications, information technology applications that can be combined together to create tools that can help people create more livable cities and maybe replace some of the older, more centralized systems that existed in the past. And the idea is that these kinds of internet-based applications will enable basically everybody to get involved in developing ideas, but more importantly, getting good ideas implemented. We all know, if we've worked in government before, how hard it is to get the good ideas that we have implemented in real life, and it seems to be becoming more and more harder and harder. So the idea here is, how can we use these tools to actually get things done? This is a system that's used in the United States called See-Click-Fix, and what it does is it allows citizens to identify problems in their city, any kind of problem, bicycle potholes in the streets, water problems, graffiti. They can put it on the map where it is, and then it allows people to vote on the severity of the problem. It allows people to comment on the problem. It allows people to suggest ideas for solving the problem. And what's interesting about it is that, of course, now cities, they've developed an application for cities to use to download this information and use it as an efficient way of spending their resources. So saying how they should fix the streets and how they should control graffiti in their city. And so it's interesting that the citizens are telling what the problems are and how important the problems are to the citizens, and then the cities are using this information to actually change how they do their business. So I want to talk now about what the basic internet applications are that we're talking about here. And there are four basic kinds, I would say. Informational, these are the ones we're used to. They include what the timetable is for public transport. They include what's on the city planning council's agenda, things like that. Then there are planning and administrative applications, which are like See-Click-Fix, where people are involved in helping plan and administer certain aspects of the city. Then, of course, there's the one we're all very familiar with now, social networking. Facebook is a great example of that. And then there are analysis and evaluation tools. These are things like cloud computing and games. And I would say that the best applications integrate several of these different categories into a single kind of an application. And here's just kind of a model, a wiki, a game, an interactive plan, and a social networking all together in one program that helps people accomplish some sort of a goal. And Busmeister, which is the project I'm working on right now, is an example of one of these kinds of coordinated approach. The idea is that we have citizens help identify and implement ideas for improving public transport. It includes a game, which is something which the players can use to learn about what's important in public transportation, how to make the public transport system work better. And then a crowdsourced wiki that basically documents the best practices in public transport operations and public transport priority. And then social networking tools, which would help the players then come together and lobby politically to get the improvements that they identify in the game actually implemented. So that's how the three different aspects would work together. The game itself would be something where players enter information about their routes into the game, and this could be facilitated very easily with your GPS-enabled cell phones and other tools. And then they would create basically a stick map or a map of their public transport route, and then they could test different improvements by dragging widgets onto the map and saying, so you have a traffic signal right now, and the traffic signal does not give any priority for public transport. You drag a widget onto this traffic signal, and it changes the traffic signal so that it gives priority to public transport. That might save 20 seconds for the bus. You do this for the whole route, and the citizens try all these different things, maybe a special lane here, that kind of thing. And at the end, they save 2 minutes for the bus on one route, on one trip. Well, over the course of the year, this could be €1 million. Not only could it be €1 million, but it also makes the bus more attractive to customers, so more people will take it, more people will pay. So the idea here is that the game will educate the players are regular citizens, about the importance of some of these public transport priority strategies. It increases interest in, well, this is very interesting, a game about the buses, and so it helps people get interested in the idea of improving their city transportation system. Why a game? What's important about a game? Many people think games, it's ridiculous, they don't do anything, they're not very helpful. But there's been some really great research by this woman, Jane McGonigal, about games and how they can be used by people. And she says, I mean, games provide the main components. When you think about the main components of happiness, if you think about somebody playing a game, I mean, it's extremely satisfying. You can get good at the games. I mean, every game has the list of top scores and everything. You can get good at that. And so there's people that have this experience of being good at something. It's time spent. You're in a group of people who are all playing the game, and so you kind of enjoy those people. And it's a bigger network because there's a lot of people playing the game all over the world, for example. But the important point that McGonigal has is that these games can actually be used to solve real problems, not just fantasy land kinds of things. And that's what we're trying to do with Busmeister. So in other words, the Busmeister educates people about the importance of public transport priority and empowers the citizens with the social network tools to go and get those improvements built. This is one you might like it. It's about bicycle routes, having citizens get involved in determining the best bicycle routes in the city and where bicycle improvements need to be made. So again, the argument is that creating this integrated set of applications to educate and empower citizens can be used to solve many different urban problems. This was your list of problems. Claudio showed it to you earlier, all the different things. If you pick any one of these, you could see how a similar kind of an approach could be used to solve this. Mr. Pizza talked about the safety for bicyclists. You could create a similar kind of a game that would help people understand some of the improvements you could make in your city to make bicycling safer or make people feel safer, and basically follow the same approach here with a game, information about what is a safe bike route, what is a non-safe bike route, and then the social network where you would go together to the city council and say, hey, you need to put in a bike lane on this stretch because it's the stretch of roadway that we feel is most dangerous. And we want to support that effort. So in summary, we need to make our cities more efficient and attractive. This is quite important. The traditional solutions are going to be more and more difficult to implement in the future, and we aren't going to have the money to implement some of these large-scale projects. And integrated internet applications could educate and empower the citizens to actually participate in helping plan and implement improvements that will improve the attractiveness and efficiency of cities.